Greetings, YouTube. It is time to discuss the best and worst featured value items in the featured store. And most importantly, I think, what's the number of items that you can purchase before you actually are making a bad value? The game wants you to purchase these. That's why if you're uncollected or cavalier, they're doing this special bonus items with unit sale because they want units for you to burn in your pocket to use in this featured store. And that's not saying that some of these aren't great decisions, particularly if you buy a few of them, but some would also be a waste. You have to ask yourself constantly when you're playing this game, what is going to be purchased that can save me time? Even if you're a free-to-play player and all you have is units, what unit deals can I purchase that's going to save me 5-star shards, 6-star shards, tier 2 alpha catalysts, tier 1 alphas, tier 4 class catalysts? You know, what are the items that are very hard for me to get on a daily basis that I could kind of skip ahead if I was to purchase it? And that goes for both the high spenders and the people who don't spend any money. So in the store marked as featured items, you will see a host of the same kind of items we have seen. Now, I am going to mainly dedicate this video to those of you who are at least about to be uncollected, because that is going to be the best use for the most people. I could do a completely separate video on beginners, but for the sake of the audience, I think we're going to stick with the highest of prioritied items. These are the 5-star shards, the 6-star shards, the sig stones, etc. And when you start with 5-star shards, you have to remind yourself that if you're cavalier particularly, 5 stars are pretty dang easy to get. In fact, if you buy 10 Cavalier crystals on average for 200 units apiece, or if you spend 2,000 units on 10 of those, you should get a 5-star. So 2,000 units should give you a 5-star if you're Cavalier, and that's not including everything else you get in the 9 others, even if there's 9 3-star champions. Now that's on average, of course. Sometimes you can get 2 or 3 5-stars, sometimes you can get 0. But in general, you'll get about 1 per 10. So in this conversation, if you spend 5 deals for 180 units, you get 1,000 5-star shards, or 10% of a 5-star basic crystal. If you were to multiply that times 10, you would, on average, get a 5-star crystal for 1,800 units, which is the price of 9 Cavalier crystals. Now, that is the chance, not the guarantee. This is guaranteed. Because of that, I would recommend the limit for a solid grade, and this is not an A grade for this. I would say if you want to stick to an A grade, you're probably stuck with 2 or 3. Anything below 100 units. So 81 units for 600 5-star shards, that's fine. You know, I think that's probably a B plus A minus grade. And then this is still a B, but everything else is probably a C or worse if you're Cavalier. If you're Grandmaster, it's a better deal for your units, or excuse me, if you're uncollected, not Grandmaster. I guess that's kind of the title. But yeah, if you're the Grandmaster, then that's going to be better, but if you're Cavalier, not so much. All right, 6-star shards are still a crazy price. Now, they're very expensive, even though most 6-star champs are trash, and are champs unless they get their beta test and they don't revoke the beta test privileges or changes like they are with She-Hulk currently, they're going to basically be stuck at rank 1 forever. I think that for the ratio to exist, at most it has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So for 360 units, you get 600 6-star shards. That's not bad. But after the 800 to 540 and the 1,000 to 750, that's where the ratio starts to get too close to 1-to-1. Right now, if you buy 5 of them for 750 units, you get 1,000 6-star shards. That's solid. In fact, I think that is something that you should highly consider if you need 6-star shards. I am going to be purchasing 750 units worth of 6-star shards. I will tell you that right now. In fact, I've got the units in front of me. Why not put my units where my mouth is and tell you by showing you that I think that's a solid deal. I am very close to getting my next 6-star crystal, and so that's part of why I purchased that, but I think it's a good deal. Now, the 6 stones are fascinating to me. These are the 1 out of 6 RNG based. I don't recommend buying these normally because for just a few units more on average, it's much smarter to buy the generic ones because you can use them on any awakened champion of any class versus these, which are playing with the MCOC lottery. Most of the time, you're going to become bankrupt on that. So if you look at the, like, for instance, 3 more units to purchase a generic signature stone versus a crystal. That's just a no-brainer, right? This, if you were to purchase 100 of these, or 100 units worth, you get up to 4. I think that's the limit on these. If you want to get the best deal, just get 1 or 2, 1 or 2. 35 units for 2 of those, and throw them into a Awakened Champion that you want to increase the sig. I use these kind of deals a lot when I was trying to max out my OG Vision, because we know that we can't get OG Vision as a 5-star in a crystal. Really can't get OG Vision in any crystal, right? Besides certainly besides the 4 and the 5. Age of Ultron Vision in the 4, and not even Age of Ultron in the 5. So go with the generics. I would purchase a maximum of 4 for at least a B value. Everything else, not the best. Now, Tier 2 Alpha Catalyst fragments are one of those things that some people will buy, but you can count on them in Alliance War Rewards and Alliance Quests, particularly with Glory. So I always say don't go above 4, because you don't want to spend more than 200 units on these. And there's only 720 of them, and so you're actually going to have a much better value in the Glory store for these than this. And you can't buy 5-star generic 6 stones in the Glory store. So you want to wait for the featured items and actually buy things that you couldn't buy normally every day in the Glory store. And that's why I'm talking about 5-star shards, 6-star shards, and 5-star generic 6 stones mainly as your source of units. Now, the Tier 5 basic you can buy in the Glory store, and I think it's worth comparing for a second what that store looks like, because when you go down in the Glory store and you go to Tier 5 basic, you can see that on average I get over 4,000 glory per week of Alliance Quest, so that is 2,700 Tier 5 basic for free. How much does it cost unit-wise to get that same amount, 2,700 Tier 5 basic, in the new featured item store? Well, let's answer that question right now, shall we? When we go down to the Tier 5 basics, 3 of those is 360 units. So the game is saying if you use your glory in Alliance Quest on this item, that's how many units you're saving yourself by spending it for free, other than, I guess, the potions and the revives you might have used to move the units, particularly if you're in the harder difficulties of Alliance Quest with like maps 6 and 7. But in general, I think for Tier 5 basic, 4 is the max that I would spend, but 3 is the B to B plus value and then below. I would just get 3 of them. It would be fine to do that. And everything else, I think I'm going to leave alone, because one of the things that was my goal with this video was to get it under 12 minutes, and we are under 9 minutes right now. And that tells me that I'm doing a good job, hopefully, of not wasting your time. So we're going to end this video here, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching, YouTube. Good luck with the best and worst values of the featured item store. Just know, especially with 5 and 6-star shards, if you're not Cavalier, if you're just, say, uncollected, and you have the same opportunity, the value actually goes up for you because you don't have the same drop rates in your Grandmaster crystals as you do in your Cavalier crystals. Have a good day.